Okay, call this meeting to order. It's 7 o'clock. Tuesday, April 19th. The first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Approval of minutes from our special meeting of April 6th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
Motion to
So
approve.
move.
Discussion? I noticed a couple things. If we go to the second page. The second page. 1, 2, the third full paragraph down. There's 3 Patrick Roys in a row, so it's the third Patrick Roy. Reported under the miscellaneous budget money was taken out of the land acquisition fund. So it's not reading right to me. I think there should be a comma. Patrick Roy reported under the miscellaneous budget, comma, money was taken out of the land acquisition fund. And I think you should also say for the proposed 2022-2023 budget. Does that sound right, everybody?
Yes.
And then the next paragraph down, a little more than halfway down, about the water wench dump truck. Has $60,000 set aside towards it. If I'm remembering correctly, I thought that money was moved from that water truck to the triaxle that the Board of Selectmen are thinking of buying. Does that sound right, Patrick?
We did add more money to it. So from what its original money was, it's going to end up being 130,000. So there is 60,000 being added to the budget. It was previously 70,000.
Okay.
It was already allocated to it. So we're going to, in this budget, add another 60,000 to it, bringing it to 130. Let me go back to.
So is that just so
The 85 allocated to truck. Yeah, that is correct. So the 85 was already there for previous budget, but that is going to truck 8. That's correct.
which is a proposed triaxle?
Nope, totally
No.
different. That water wench truck is totally separate from truck 8. Truck 8 is the 2001 Mack that Kim Pelletier is going to rebuild.
Okay,
The water wench truck is going to replace the fire truck that's there, 2 totally separate lines.
okay. So is this reading correctly to you then?
Truck 8 has the $85,000 referenced in there.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
It's enough to rebuild it. Yep. I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to read it one more time.
Thank you for clearing that up, because I
Correct. There's
I remember
3 separate
A lot of
vehicles.
information.
Yeah, there is. Okay, so that can stay.
Yeah, Truck 10 gets pushed out to 23, 24, correct? And then the money for the backhoe 2026 is correct. The water wench truck is a separate line. And that does add 60,000 to the 70,000. So the water wench pump truck will have its own account for 130,000 in total.
Thank you very much.
You're correct.
Is there anything else that anybody would like to address in the minutes? Is everybody okay with rewording that sentence, just so it sounds a little clearer about the miscellaneous budget money?
Yes,
And that, Paul? Paul, you're muted.
Paul, you're muted, Paul.
Oh, did that help?
Yes.
Now, yeah, we can hear you
There we
now.
go.
Are you
Sorry,
okay?
guys.
Are you okay
Yeah,
with
I'm
the?
fine.
Okay,
Totally
Oh.
fine. And good clarification.
okay.
So you want to vote on it?
Yeah, so we already have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 As
Opposed?
amended.
Okay, thank you, everybody. So we got a lot of work done at the last meeting.
We did.
How would we all like to go about the, I'm sure we all have a couple things that maybe we'd like to discuss a little further. Does anybody have anything on the top of their mind that they'd like to start with, or do you want to just go through?
I think we should just go through it line by line, page by page, right?
Might as well plow through.
Do you want to start with the proposed budget?
Find the right page?
I have the capital budget open, but I don't know that if we want to actually. This is the revenue.
I've got proposed budget up here. I have capital. I can open something up on the screen.
Yeah, can you put the proposed budget, please? That screen really makes things a lot easier.
Sure does.
Can you guys see that at home, Nanette and Paul?
Yeah,
No,
But not right now. Now he comes up.
We're-
Yeah, he's
we're
working
gonna-
on it.
We're gonna share it.
yeah, because and Nanette, if you just tap it and kind of pinch it out, then you can see the whole thing.
okay.
Well, actually, I'm going,
Annette, we're looking at your water bottle.
we're gonna share it.
Oh, well, how does it look?
Looks pretty good.
Is that right?
Calories.
Okay.
So Nanette, if you just pinch it out.
No,
You
I
can
can see it.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so maybe you should start with the public works salaries.
You want to get to the
You want to
top,
start
that's
on
page
page
2.
one? Let me get
Oh,
to.
page 2, sorry.
the heck?
Thank you, Kim.
Should be right in the front.
Yeah, it's the first tab under the.
Yep, this is the first page of the budget, should be one of 3 if you have.
I cruised right by it.
Yeah, I did the same.
You have it, Julie, right?
I do, and for some reason, okay, there it is. Let me get to the very top. Okay. Do this again.
Nanette and Paul, do you have your book open? Just so we're all on the same page?
Yeah.
Okay, page 1 under the budget tab.
Yeah, Yeah.
There.
and we can see it on the screen also.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so first we got selectmen salaries, grant procurement, selectman's office, and the finance director. Does anybody want to discuss any of that?
I don't have any issues. My only issue really has been since we met last, and which was an excellent meeting, is that I really want to see salary increases for the non-union employees to be no less than 5.5% increase. I feel quite strongly that we need to be close to Bridgewater and Washington. You know, this will be seen, and I think we can well afford it, and it's not going to break the bank.
And just so Patrick, you're proposing 4, or the selectmen are proposing 4?
Correct, the board of selectmen approved 4.
Okay, and what is Washington and Bridgewater at?
More like 5. I don't know that they've actually approved it, but that's where they were heading into. I think we all heard last week that the cost of living increase for the 12-month cycle is now up to 8.5%. Historically, the town has always kind of stayed with the consumer price index.
Okay, thank you.
My sense is, I think Washington is at 6, or that's where they want to be. I could be wrong.
I know Kent started out as 8, actually, and then they've kind of negotiated down, but like all of the towns, you know, we started off at a number and it's not yet to be set. So every town is having those same discussions currently.
So
Okay.
Patrick, is there anything to report on the negotiation? One of the things we decided to do was to kind of wait to see where the negotiations went. So is there anything to report on that front?
executive session.
I do, but I can't
Alex.
discuss it publicly. I know. We have to go into executive session. I'm
Got
not
it.
allowed to
Okay.
talk about any specific salaries, generalized conversations. We can talk about that. So
Okay.
Paul, you're good, but when we go into executive session, I'll go over what my thought process was and what the plan is. Nothing's been approved until, I believe, May 2nd. It's the first Monday this time in May. We'll have our Board of Selectmen meeting. We'll actually vote, but I'd love to include those numbers. I have the negotiating packet with me.
So then
Great.
let's hold off on that until we're in executive session.
Correct, and that might be good for all of the percentage increases where we can get more into that conversation.
That's what I'm thinking I'll do. I'll make a list here of things that we should discuss in executive session. And then, so that I'm writing this down, it's the salaries.
Yep.
Does that seem reasonable?
Yes.
Yes.
You got treasurer, town clerk, tax collector, assessor. Any discussion on any of that?
It all seems in line to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think we discussed last time that, some of the pops in both tax collector and assessor were due to, well, first extra shifts and then an assistant as well, right?
Correct.
So,
Correct.
which explains those increases.
Right.
And then the postage,
Yeah.
10%.
Yep, correct. And that's also in advertising with zoning down below. And animal control was the overcharge. So the biggest controllable, obviously our biggest controllable is salaries. Specifically in this section, this is all, salary driven. Most of the controllables within the town hall, even the town hall itself, are pretty closely maintained by the staff here.
Okay, great. Anything else under general government?
No,
John?
good.
No, good. Everybody?
I'm good.
Yep.
Total general government, commissions and boards. Patrick, can you refresh my memory at least on the zoning?
Absolutely. We have that increase for zoning was due to advertising costs, which has increased a lot. Inland wetlands took down their legal fees. It's not a whole lot of money, as you can see, but it is a big percentage. And that's, there wasn't a lot of the requirements now with the woods. There was a lot of legal fees that has been put to bed. Senior center and senior credit center programs are add-ons, and those are program-based. Lake Winona, now that they're putting together that capital fund, there was a larger ask. We actually had JB Kern come to our Board of Selectmen meeting and talk about what their plans are. And they're basically starting their own capital expense for boat replacement so that they don't have these poppy numbers where they can keep a little bit more in control. That, and then there's a reduction in recreation only because the money hasn't been spent. I'd like to see a little bit more focus, and I'd like to see them use the money that's assigned before having a place card that may not be used. So I talked to them, basically they feel they can do it for $20,000 instead of the $30,000 ask. And again, historically, we pulled it back to see with the $12,000 usage, 12,000, 9,000. I thought that was more than reasonable, especially when we were looking to save on all lines.
And could you please remind me on, or us, excuse me, on the senior center programs, then was it 9,000, 9,500?
Yeah, we're going up. We have a new senior center director, and she's looking to start a lot of programs. And actually with that, she had a lot of buffer money in there. Some of that we cleaned out. So we've actually taken $10,000 off her original plan because again, I want to see things planned and mapped out. But she's already running new programs over there. She's got a lot of energy. And so we want to give her what she needs. So it is a larger ask this year. I'm hoping that she brings that same kind of involvement and enthusiasm like Teresa did with the library. We were talking about that today, where it really is a social center.
That's Jennifer is her name, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we met that time at the
Correct.
barn
She
and
has great idea.
yeah, she-
I
yeah.
have to tell you, have a massage there for $60 for an hour.
Nice,
Really nice.
So that's
the
her
only thing.
plan. And the way she looks at it, and I'm going to use her words here. She wants to make the senior center a place that she wants to come to when she's a senior. And that's how she looks at it. And she's been very successful so far. Very excited about her.
And
So
I think she's wonderful. I got to spend a little extra time one-on-one when we went and looked at that other barn in
Yep.
Bridgewater.
Yep.
You wanted to come, but you had another.
I stopped out there later that day. It was
Okay.
gorgeous. It's
Thank
gorgeous.
you.
I still have some pictures.
Thank you. So, but yeah, she's a great hire. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So commissions and boards, anybody have anything they'd like to discuss or have questions for Patrick or? Okay. How about Nanette and Paul? Are you guys okay?
Yes,
Good.
we're good. Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. Page 2, Highway and Public Works.
So we have a little bit more money in chip sealing. That's the paved roads part of it. A little bit more money in town garage, I believe it is. Yep, town garage and salt barn. And then we, of course, we have the road and bridge assessments. That is the $60,000 for surveyors and engineers, which is a huge increase, but that's something we all agreed to come up with a master plan. And then tree maintenance, we pulled back a little bit. We pulled it back to 50,000. That one actually had gone down even lower than that. We bumped it up a little bit to 50,000. Just to make sure that we have, in case of a natural disaster or another significant tree storm, a tree event, we could do that. But already, I actually am meeting with some representatives from Eversource on Friday to talk about how great Stanley Tree Service has been. I don't know if you've noticed this week, but the humongous 300-year-old maple tree that's across from the senior center was removed at Eversource's expense on the wrong side of the road, which was great.
Wow.
So you just have to take the pictures in the right angle, include those transformers in there, and they were doing wonderful. So they literally stopped everything just to take it down. Very critical tree. So yeah, I meet the crews out there in the morning. The tree guys are great. Like the cooperation that we've had has been awesome. So I'd like to keep Stanley and not have Lewis back in town.
Yeah.
I agree.
Just saying, it didn't take a long time of learning and watching the crews to realize where the talent was. Yeah.
And now that I'm thinking about it, see, I'm working in there are 2 good jobs in town, so I'm driving constantly
Oh, yeah.
through town. It's rare that I don't see a tree crew somewhere.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day they're somewhere. I will say that there was a tremendous amount of work done on a very small road that seems insignificant, but Moosehorn. They were on Moosehorn for like 3 weeks with 2 crews, the whole road. I mean, there are a massive amount of trees that came down on that road, but that had more outages than any other road in town. That was the number one spot for outages. Now we're starting to work down South Street. That'll be, I think the 3rd worst.
And there was a Stanley pickup truck going by my driveway as I was leaving this morning. So
That was
There
John.
not be any trees on
they're
it.
everywhere.
I passed him too, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
We sell the firewood, sell what they cut down as firewood, can be a revenue source.
Do you still leave it on the side of the road for pickup? Or are they taking it with?
Okay, so what happens is if it's Stanley trees, they stage them, they have a logging truck that comes in after the fact. So there's different crews that come over. So they'll take all the chip stuff and then they put all the other stuff to the side. Then there's a logging truck that comes in just for that.
Okay, great.
Eversource never did that.
They did, but it took them a while.
It took them a long time. You have to stay on them.
Yeah.
And if they know that if they're always, I'm going to talk to them every day.
Yeah.
They're going to be on
Lewis,
it.
I should say, not Eversource, Lewis.
Anybody have any concerns under Highway and Public Works? Nanette and Paul?
No,
Good.
I think they're doing a great job.
Okay. Holly, you okay?
I am, absolutely.
Yep.
Total Highway and Public Works protection.
Protection's the next piece. This is the added shifts for our police. We also have a 57% increase in our ambulance paramedic service that was through Trinity. And we know what those are. We have insurance and bonds, cybersecurity. And I don't know if it's reflected in this one, but this does include going from $1,500 to a $2,000 tax abatement for our volunteers, a firefighter and ambulance. And they must meet qualifications in order to qualify. They must meet a minimum amount of calls and points. So those are starting to come in. So that's going to be an increase that we're asking for this year.
Right, and that's on the revenue side.
Oh, because, okay,
So-
yep,
So that abatement comes off of the projected revenue.
correct.
And it's not budgeted. We don't budget for.
But I wanted to include it. That's
Good tax
represented
abatement.
there in
No, thank you for
protection.
including that benefit.
Right.
Yep.
And the ambulance the increase, seems to me like it's a fixed cost. It's not,
We're in we're in a group of 7 towns. This is actually a 3-year contract. They asked for a 7% increase every year. We did sign our 1 year, but the biggest town involved in this is New Milford. And they've already agreed that they are not going to go forward more than 1 year. This is a 1-year contract. It kept everyone together. It was basically Trinity tried to renegotiate at the last minute. So we were kind of locked in with this 7-town group. It's something that we have to move forward with, but now we can start over this next year, researching partnerships, developing new relationships, because there's a lot of expense in medical care right now. What our ambulance and fire department do for our town saves us hundreds of thousands of dollars. The dedication is just amazing.
Patrick, is that something that Sarah will do, or will you become involved in that in terms of finding a new provider? Or
Correct. That's
negotiating?
exactly what we're doing. So she also belongs to the Council of Chiefs.
Okay.
So that's where that's going to come to play. And I'm hoping to get some help from the COG if necessary, to try and put this together. But we do have some time over this year, but every town has seen this increase.
Do you think New Milford's going to go their own way
They
by
are.
themselves?
They're investing in
Okay.
hiring their own, which is a huge expense for the town. And we're
Sure.
not in a position to do that. But that's a much larger town, and there's a lot of money going into it, I'll be honest to say.
Thank you.
the fire department. What else we got? Emergency services. Insurance and bonds. There's a significant increase on that.
That's a 40% increase in cybersecurity. That's been a
Wow.
huge.
I think money well spent.
Yeah, it's the one thing. That's why we trained our staff at the last staff meeting here at Town Hall on malware and what do you do, and had a little class on it, so everyone knows.
Yeah, I remember reading something a while back where some other town, either their treasurer or somebody got an email from somebody who they thought was the person that they owed money to. It wasn't, and they cut the check, and it was a significant amount of money, and it was scary stuff.
There are ransomwares that towns have paid for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, we have a backup system here, we have a backup system in the cloud, but there's a process. We have to take our whole system offline, and you can take it off and then replenish it, and you'll lose that 15 minutes or a half an hour, but it updates all the time. So you go back to the last save, erase everything that's been done, and we're back online. So I think ransomware is a huge threat, but it's acting quickly.
Is that something that we're all in agreement with, or do we want to put it on the list for executive session? I think it's money well spent myself.
I agree.
I
Yes.
do too.
Absolutely,
Okay, so,
absolutely.
so anything else under protection? Ball in the net?
Good.
We're good. The only question I have is, let's say that we were subject to ransomware. Are we covered by our town insurance?
Good question.
We do have an existing cyber policy,
Right?
so I can't speak to the specifics of it, but I assume that
That'd be a good Colleen question for
Right.
Irma.
we'd have to call the underwriter, but I'm pretty sure to some extent it does.
Assume we'd have to suffer a loss. We're not just covered by the fact that somebody hacked us.
Right. As far as deductibles and all of that, if there's a deductible, I just don't know enough about the policy, how it works. Jimmy might know, because he was.
I don't know the specifics, but I know with Barbara and Judy, we had to fill out a ton of forms to give to Colleen,
Right, a lot of forms.
specifically to cover this kind of stuff. And we had to get our IT company involved, and there was a lot of questions. So it was definitely something Barbara and Judy looked into. I don't know the specifics of that.
We can certainly reach out to Colleen and get that question.
I think that'd be a good thing to do, especially in light of the fact that malware attacks and have been increasing. They're not going away.
Oh, I get bad emails every single day.
And
I do too,
yeah, the
all the time.
phishing, yeah.
I do too, every day.
Even
Last
on your
night at
phone.
5 a.m.
The best is when it comes from you. It'll say Ed from Edwin Katie to Edwin. Katie.
That freaks me out.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
freaks me
no,
out.
exactly.
And then-
like that.
Then I
Yeah.
click on who, what the actual address is, and it's not,
Yeah.
it's some made up.
But
made
they
up
can
thing.
easily spoof your email, which
Yep.
is kind of freaky.
Yeah. And it gets, and it somehow gets around the junk file.
Well, it's from you.
Excuse me?
It's from you.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Ed,
Yes,
Ed,
yeah,
that
Here.
last question reminded me of something I had wanted to ask in the area of highway and public works about liability. So I know when we hire out a contractor to do some of the road work, that they're covered by various insurance and bonds, and we double check to make sure they're all covered. Now that we're doing more of this work ourselves for the town, I just wanted to raise the question of whether we feel like we are adequately covered on the issues of, on the liability issues.
Well, they're not doing anything differently that they normally would have done. With our third parties or extra people that we bring in, they are covered by their own insurance. So with for the lawn mowing bids, they have to present their own liability insurance. As far as our own employees, they're completely covered. I like to look at it like, although, they're not doing anything different than they've done before. We're just
I'm asking more about some of the work that they're doing, like on the culverts, that we're taking in-house that we thought we would have to bid out. Some of that kind of work, whether we feel like we're covered on all the liability questions.
Okay. I'll get the answer to that. Okay.
And that, if I can just add that a lot of that would come under workman's comp for public works, as far as, what their coverage is at. I don't think
it's a question of whether our employees are covered. I am understanding Nanette's question as the work that's done. If there's a failure,
but they're
If
doing
there's a
the work, but
we're doing
town
the work.
employees are doing the work.
So you're wondering about the liability of the work they perform.
If there's a failure and there are damages, or there are damages to people or vehicles because of it, whether we're just adequately covered on that, knowing that we would expect that a contractor would, as you said, we check their insurance and all of that. I just want to make sure that we're covered as a town.
As a liability, correct?
Yes.
Yep, I understand the question. I'll
Okay.
get the answer for it.
good
Correct.
question.
It's a
and
very good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Nina.
Everybody good with protection?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Health and welfare. Big one is the transfer station. Yeah,
Gas and hauling. We've had increases. We know that they're going to continue. Although we've negotiated a little bit with Stone to get a lower rate, because a lot of the processes are a lot smoother than when we first started with HRRA. There is additional cost in these lines with elderly disabled service transport, because we had another driver. That represents that 15.7% increase, and then extra money to Greenwoods, where I went last week to go meet with John Simicelli, the director. He's put together an amazing program up there. I was the first selectman to ever reach out to him, and he covers all of Litchfield County.
Wow.
But that was shocking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Greenwoods does.
Greenwoods is the only nonprofit counseling center that helps all of Litchfield County. They work actually out of the basement of a church building in the center of Litchfield. It was started by the priest there 30 years ago. So in the last 5 years, John has taken this from basically referring everybody out. In his 5 years, his budget has gone from 300,000 to 1.6 million. Now he has 5 counselors, he has a full staff, and they take a lot more counseling in-house. But they've just seen such an increase, not just from a, so I visited him, I believe, on the 12th. And we had already had 11 or 12 overdoses, 5 deaths, and 1 suicide.
This year?
Just in Litchfield County, just in our area. And no, that was April. That was since the beginning of April.
The state average is 3 a day. State of
3
Connecticut.
overdoses.
Yeah, so
Three overdoses a
Litchfield,
day, yeah.
in April, they were averaging 1 overdose a day. 5 of those were fatal. And there was 1 suicide where a guy jumped off the bridge.
Oh,
Mm.
God.
So there's a lot going on, and I think we've only just started to see what the long-term effects of COVID are and some of the drug problems and all. So helping them out, not that it's necessarily a town responsibility. I think it's everybody's responsibility, and I'd like to give a little bit more attention to what they're doing. I met with a representative from Chris Murphy's office, and they were looking for volunteer, organizations to help. And that was one of the places that I steered them to, because I really believed in what it was. And it's unfortunate that other selectmen don't get involved in what they spend.
Yeah, so thank you for
Because going
looking
into
into
these lines, you learn a lot. There's a lot of dedicated people out there.
Yeah, Greenwoods is excellent. We've been giving to them for years, and they do
Thank you.
amazing work.
They
Amazing.
really do. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm thinking it's kind of the perfect storm with this fentanyl, because it even before the COVID hit, you could see there was more. It had been
Oh,
spiking for a few years
Absolutely.
before, and it was just like the perfect storm now with people, having issues,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's scary stuff. It really is.
So I just wanted to let you know I did follow up on that, because I didn't know enough about them. And, I was pretty impressed.
Anything else under health and welfare?
I'm good.
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 Okay. Thank you, everybody. Page 3.
Yeah, hold on. There we go.
Benefits.
Pensions are up 23.42% goes out. Whose pension?
It's everyone's. So it was a combination of our increases plus the union projected increase.
And we have a new employee, the senior center director is now getting a pension. So you add that to it. Yeah, the new senior center director and the LoSAP, the deferred annuity for emergency services. That was an increase there,
That's correct.
estimated 20 participants.
What are we? I was gonna, where do we get to miscellaneous?
Okay.
Anything else on benefits?
I'm
No.
good.
Everybody good?
I'm
Okay,
good.
thank you.
Yep.
Miscellaneous.
What are we gonna do on the land acquisition fund?
Want to put that on the list?
That's what I was thinking you were gonna say. We haven't made any
We'll put that on our
changes.
list, okay?
I know that was a Nanette topic from last.
The land acquisition fund,
Yeah,
okay?
It's on her list.
do you want to talk about it now, or are we we're holding this for executive session?
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
so far we just have salaries and then this topic.
Okay.
Anything else on,
Jimmy, are you on? James Hurlbert, Boston Red Sox.
Yes,
You're not buying any computers this year?
No,
it's-
that's
That was
been
moved
moved
to
to capital
capital
expense.
Capital expense?
Glad somebody called out the, oh, look at that, we have a face.
back to the Sox.
Oh,
There you
come
go.
on. Anything else under miscellaneous, anybody?
No.
Nope.
No, okay.
Mm-mm.
We'll move on to capital improvement. Or-
Capital budget.
Give me a moment. Now, since it's so spread out, how do you want me to just? get
No,
rid of
you're,
the
so
zero
everybody,
in to the- to
just
the
to
left Instead of looking at the projected.
refresh, well, I don't know that the 24 through 27 yearly projections is necessary at this point. That's just achieving the grand total.
So I
Yeah,
can
move it over.
put it
Perfect.
over that way.
There you go. Okay, so everything that's in the right-hand green column is this year's net capital expense. The previous to the left, that was last year's budgets. So this year we have the revaluation going on. The software upgrades, computer work is moved to that side now. Commissions and boards, the Hodge Library, a multi-year commitment to restore that place. And then going through down to Public Works, I have a continuing investment in backhoe number 16. As previously mentioned in the previous notes, the water wench pump truck, we have additional money going into that. And the tree removal comes back from grant. Public Works mowing equipment was added, as well as the smooth drum compact roller.
That's the steamroller, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Gonna make beautiful dirt roads this year. I can't wait.
Nor can we over here on Schoolhouse.
Same on Bearborough.
Nope.
Actually, it's not. So-
Is there anything in,
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go, I was just stopping to go, make sure you guys are good with that. That's the bulk of what is being spent.
is there anything anybody has questions for Patrick or to hold over to executive session? Everybody okay?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Annette,
Good.
thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna skip over protection. This is the fire department's request. I think it's very conservative and it's consistent where they've been previously. And they're staying pretty flat, which is nice for us, for the town. Very, very impressed. So nothing was changed from their original presentation or proposal.
You gotta replace a police vehicle next year, right? Or
Yep,
is it next year or the year after the year?
next year.
Next year,
2024.
2024?
Yeah, year after.
Oh, it would be the year after, correct? We were looking at it, but we offset that.
Have you put in an order yet?
No, we'd have to do that next year. We're looking at least about a year out. On
Okay.
it.
Because what I'm hearing, people just want to buy a simple car, 6 months.
So that actually happens with truck number 5 back on the public works category. I'm sorry to go backwards. But we had to put a hold to hopefully get something before the fall. Because there's a pre-order that was done by one of the local dealerships, Gingras, and we were able to get one of those that was on hold to be ordered. If not, we would have been waiting another extra year to get it. But I hear
Yeah.
that they are starting to get some of these components and it's getting a little easier. And as well as some of this spending surge that a lot of places are going through, start to pull back a little bit. So the next spot would be to go down to building, land, parks. I think we've already talked about the 50,000 for Public Works Complex. That could be more, that's up to you. Town hall maintenance, saying at 10,000 a year, tennis courts. We're probably gonna have to look at that as a bigger investment next year because the prices came in at like 160,000. Minor Memorial Library, they did present to you guys, as you know, and the senior center maintenance is for their, building up their capital expense budget for roof replacements, broken windows, second floor painting, as well as some other things. We have
Patrick,
no,
excuse me,
oh, sorry.
she's anticipating taking the stage out, correct, on the second floor?
She is. That's gonna be done probably through our public works
Right.
crew.
Right.
And some volunteers to do the floor.
Right.
But part of their computer upgrade that was already approved, but that's totally separate from this budget.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with that.
Got it.
There was 75,000 set in ARPA funds for all of their computer upgrades and things. So in doing the screen, she wants to change it around, but that's gonna be on them. It's not gonna be
Good,
that fund.
thanks.
Yep, thank you.
All right, any questions on buildings and land parks?
The only thing, talking about, painting the Public Works building. The number you had is 50,000, is that right?
That's very conservative, yes.
Okay, but do you think you'll be able to achieve what you really want to with that expenditure, the ceiling, the lighting, brightening it all up?
I'm hoping to do it in pieces, probably not. No, I mean, just the sheet rock of the ceiling and the lighting alone is probably gonna take that. But I also look at it as it could be a long-term investment. I wanted to present the leanest budget we could. We literally went through every line to make sure that no additional money is spent. So that'll be up to you guys to tweak it as you feel fit. But I wanted to make sure that this presentation would be as clean and solid as possible.
So this does not contemplate upgrading the bathroom facilities down there?
No, none of that, not for 50,000. No, we're gonna get a coat of paint on and a couple other things just for that, and maybe change some light fixtures. But like I said, that's a conservative number. But that probably should be an executive session conversation.
Yeah, I think we should put that as a question for that.
Patrick, do they have grants for things like upgrading?
Most of it's like I just helped Jennifer put in a grant for the possibly redoing the barn behind the senior center. There's things that we can get, there's things that we can't. Usually it's for community spaces, or there's a lot of stuff coming environmental, transportation based, public transportation based. There's a lot of different grants that are available. We have to find the right one. For a public works building, probably not.
But maybe if it's environmental, that one pit, that pool.
There could be something we could get from that, absolutely.
Yeah, that's the.
Without
that's
drawing
runoff from
attention.
Washing and things like that, is that
Yeah.
correct, if I remember correctly? Yeah.
And if we were to replace or rebuild that building or expand that building, we would need to put in a separate gray water holding to address some of those issues.
Right.
Correct.
Anything else under buildings and land and parks? No, okay.
Okay,
Health and welfare, transport station, maintenance.
yep. That's all that is just a continuing rollover of replacing of compactors and replacement.
Okay. And then roads.
And then roads, bridges, the only thing that we're really adding is minor bridge. Everything else has basically already been accounted for in funds, which is great news. So Squire Bridge, Squire Road Culvert will get done this year, minor bridge next year, Davenport this year, and Botsford hopefully the end of this year. All of those numbers are in line based on the information that I've gathered.
That's awesome. Great.
So I'm looking here in the notes. So is there some TAR money that's being used for this, Patrick, or is this,
There will be when we get to minor bridge.
but not? Yeah, okay.
Oh, and Davenport has some as well, correct. I don't believe that Squire Road, although it's listed, we shouldn't need any of that fund.
Okay. Kim, just out of curiosity, do you recall offhand what's in the TAR account? Roughly?
It's 1.3.
Mhm.
Okay.
Last time we talked about it, it was about 1.3.
1.3.
A couple weeks ago.
It's gone up since I recall.
I think last
Yeah,
time we were
I think
asking
we
last
just
year was
said
like
our-
700-800,000.
I was just gonna say
Yeah,
that.
No, I
let's
remember
get
that
our
last time you
second
asked that.
We've been
Finance
waiting for
meeting.
that check.
This was from,
for a
Well,
while.
it's gonna keep coming in, yeah, because this is all the state money, so it's gonna continue to roll over, so, we can use
Right.
stuff for that, so. Any kind of thing that helps out town aid, so I will say that, like the rumble strips and the speed signs, that's paid out of town aid road. That's what that's for. But it still continues to build.
recall, just out of curiosity, how much the state is allocating Little Roxbury?
We had about 336,000,
still 300.
324,
Okay.
I think it's on the budget.
But we haven't really dipped into it at all. We
On the revenue.
project on Painter Hill, which there may be some IDA replenishment money for that. So Kim is diligently working on that now, putting
Right,
paperwork together to see if we can get replenishment money just from the Painter Hill Bridge that we did.
That's great.
Okay, good.
Ida,
Yep,
Wakely Road, yeah. I'm on the clock
Wakely,
now for all
Painter, and
that,
Squire.
60
Yeah,
days.
that storm did a lot of damage.
It did. It's
Yeah.
nice that it's been recognized by the government.
Yeah, so the state has it in their budget next year to have, we're still getting our double allotment, 324,000
Okay,
for tar. So that hasn't changed,
thank you.
which is good.
Anything else for roads and bridges?
I know.
Nanette and Paul?
They ain't taking it.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Cut the gas tax. Sorry.
Wanna? Anything else before you go into executive session or? And then Paul, you guys ready?
We're ready.
Do
So
we need a motion? Somebody please like,
I move that we end the regular part of the meeting and move into executive session. Is that correct?
good enough. Second,
Second,
and you're
Second.
going to discuss salaries?
we're gonna discuss salaries, the land acquisition fund, and money to make improvements to the town garage.
Okay. Time is 7:47. Okay. It's 8:55.
So there's a motion by Nanette to leave executive session, seconded by Paul.
At 8:53.
Very good, thank you. Okay, so that's to leave. Was anything resolved?
Yeah, we have three motions we'd like to get on the record.
Okay,
So the first thing we discussed was non-union salaries. 4% is proposed by the Board of Selectmen. Board of Finance, considering the inflation rate, things of that nature, felt that they deserved a little more. Is that fair?
fair.
Yes.
Fair.
So we, as a group, felt it was appropriate to raise it from 4% to 6%. So do we have a motion?
So move.
Second,
Do we want to have any discussion about this?
No, I don't.
So, Julie, do you have the motion?
I've got it to change the 4% proposed salary raise from the Board of Selectmen to 6%.
For non-union,
4 to
For
6%.
Non-union.
For
non-union
non-union
town
salaried
employees.
employees,
No, not salary, non-union
Yep.
employees.
non-union employees. Okay.
Yeah.
you said,
Yeah,
Second,
there's.
Nanette second? Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
aye,
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Second subject was the land acquisition fund. Typically, the town had been putting in about $10,000 a year in recent history. There is a considerable amount of money in the Board of Finance's opinion sitting there. It's between $750,000 and $800,000. We would like to keep keep an annual allotment of money towards this worthy endeavor, but felt that maybe $10,000 was too much. So I would like to make a motion to allocate $2,500 towards the land acquisition fund. Do you have a second?
Second.
I mean, I'm sorry, but first,
Yeah, I moved to,
Okay.
yeah.
okay, discussion? I have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the third item discussed in executive session was the money to make improvements at the town crew garage. $50,000 had been proposed by the Board of Selectmen. There's a lot of good ideas that are being tossed around down there to really make some solid improvements that we as a board felt would be good for the town crew, for morale, and felt that this was going to be something that was going to be done over years. We thought maybe we'd speed it up a little more, so we would propose adding another 50,000 to make it a total of 100,000.
So you're increasing the Board of Selectmen proposed allotment of 50,000 to 100.
100,000.
Okay.
correct. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Discussion? Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carries unanimously.
So can I move that we adopt the budget, the proposed selectmen's budget as amended by the Board of Finance? Is that a proper motion does that cover us?
Sounds good.
I think.
Actually, just
To go to
Jimmy
the
about
budget
that.
hearing,
To go to the,
I just,
Next week's.
to go to the budget hearing next
Yeah.
Monday,
Mhm.
correct, Annette?
yes,
Okay. Okay.
Second.
So you got a second?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Patrick, did you have anything you wanted to add for your?
Just for the selectmen's report, not really, it's been a long night. I know we do not follow the 90-minute rule. But I want to thank everybody for their thoughtfulness, understanding, and letting me go through. This has been a learning process for you guys and for me as well. So this has been great. It's definitely a new and improved budget. I'm pretty proud of it. I just want to remind everybody that the townwide cleanup is this Saturday. I'll be up at the transfer station giving out bags and gloves and vests, and you can select your road, and we're gonna have our townwide cleanup. And next week, we're probably gonna have speed bumps on Weller's Bridge. So I'll wait for the fallout. But other than that, everything's going good.
What are you
We
gonna
don't
have
think
on
we're
Weller's?
happy.
What are you gonna have on Weller's Bridge?
Rumble strips, speed humps.
Where would they be?
Oh, speed bumps.
Yeah,
Oh, good for
500
you.
from the South Street on Wellers this way.
Yeah,
From Hemlock, going towards Wellers, another 500 feet in, so kind of between Ed Gurney's house, and then going down the hill just before the corner.
Oh, okay.
Because it can't be on a hill, it has to be open area, so
Right, yeah.
there's just
now,
a couple
will
areas.
these,
I'll
will
let you
these
know
work?
if my
they
van
work in the
breaks.
winter
I'll let
time?
you know, Patrick.
What's up, Nat?
I said, I'll let you know if the van scrapes.
If it scrapes, you're driving too fast. No, it's not that. It's only 2 inches. It's a
All
small
right.
rock.
All
You
right.
got this. It's fine.
All
Oh,
right.
but wait a minute,
We wanna-
what about winter time?
They're removable.
Oh, okay.
They're rubber.
Before we go, I just want to thank Ed for a masterful job in shepherding us through this at a very difficult time. So
Yeah.
thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, everybody. It's,
It's really true.
I'm doing my best. It's, it's, still seems unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. It is.
But
Oh.
thank you.
Great
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All best
Anything
wishes
else?
to you.
Anything else? Motion to
Think we're
adjourn?
good.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you on Monday.
Thank you.
And I think
Goodbye.
we have to be, we have to,
You have to be present. You know that, Nanette? Paul?
Oh, yeah.
Paul? You know you have to be
Yeah.
present on
Yes.
Monday.